Hi everybody. So I get asked this question all the time. So might as well answer it in one video, and that way everybody can have the same answer and I don't have to keep repeating myself. So the question is, can I have sex with a cerclage? So this is my third cerclage. So I think I know a thing or two about them, but I'm by far not an expert when it comes to cerclages and the different types of cerclages, and when it comes to your body and what your doctor says. But for each one of my pregnancies, it has always been the same answer when it came to intercourse and cerclages, and the answer was always no. No, 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 no. However, it depends on what you define as sex. There are ways around it that are not going to interfere with your baby. It just kind of depends on what you're comfortable doing in intimacy of your own intercourse. Like, the penis cannot penetrate the vagina. For one, your cervix is there, and if you have a stitch in your cervix, you have, and I've showed you what the stitch looks like in a separate video. It's not that heavy and thick. So if you're constantly having something going in and hitting it and hitting it and hitting it, and you're already high risk, you already have issues with funneling, your cervix is weak, it can open up at any time, you can dilate, your cervix becomes shorter and shorter and shorter. Why would you even want to risk that? I mean, I wouldn't. I feel like, sex can wait, that kind of sex. So no penetration, no penis in the vagina. No, 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 no. Okay, so I have a McDonald's cerclage. You may have something different. Mine is a preventative cerclage, meaning that it is placed in between 14 and 15 weeks to prevent me from being in an emergency situation. So with each cerclage, I've had 3. It's always been no. Now, if you have a emergency cerclage, you definitely don't want to be risking having sex and things like that. It's just not a good idea, because your chances of being able to have a successful pregnancy go way down when you have an emergency cerclage. It's something that has already happened, and they're just trying to keep the baby in. Just a little bit about sex is orgasms. So we think, okay, well, maybe I can just rub up and down against it. That's great, as long as you don't have an orgasm. If that makes your man happy and it pleases him, then great. But you don't need to have an orgasm, simply because the orgasm, if you look up some of the old wives' tales, and some of these things are true, people use sex to stimulate labor, to stimulate, the birthing process. And so yeah, with each orgasm, it kind of, gets your body, it opens up your cervix, thins it out a little bit, if you will. So, the orgasms can be really intense, and you may feel that down there. I don't know if somebody who has a normal, healthy pregnancy and they have sex, usually there is some spotting afterwards. So just imagine, you are high risk trying to have an orgasm and feel some pleasure, and what can happen. So that is the bad news about the cerclage. If you're like me, you're willing to do whatever you can to just have a really healthy pregnancy, especially if you've had some losses. Sex doesn't even matter. Now, ways around sex. I really believe in just allowing this time to be intimate with my husband. So that means maybe we'll just practice some breathing exercises. Like Kama Sutra, something like that. And that way, it just allows us to be intimate on a whole nother level, and it takes sex completely out of it. It allows our bodies to just connect as one. It allows our breathing to sync as one. And this is really great when it comes to childbirth, because you're going to need your partner to be one with you in that experience, okay? You're going to need him to be on the same page with you when you're in the labor process. You don't need him to be over here panicking and you're over here trying to be calm, especially if you're trying to have a natural childbirth. So I use this time to just be intimate with my husband on a totally different level, to just begin to know each other on a totally different level, and sex not be the objective, you know, having an orgasm not be the objective. Yes, it feels great, but sometimes we can feel like we're the object. Does that make sense? So, and then of course, there's oral sex. If you're comfortable with that, you can have oral sex. Again, if you're on the receiving end of the oral sex and you're very prone to having orgasms, a lot of women can't have orgasms from oral sex. They need to have some rubbing action going on, or some penetration. But you know, you want to be careful not to allow yourself to climax. But you can give. Yes, I'm being very open and honest with you guys. You asked me these questions, so I'm gonna tell you. But the biggest thing is nothing in the vagina. Nothing in the vagina. Okay? So I hope that helps you. And if you have other alternatives to sex, then, you know, by all means, go for it. As long as, you know, you're not putting anything in the vagina and you're not having an orgasm. Now, with all that being said, some of you may have a doctor who says, you know what? Yes, you can presume intercourse. Listen to your doctor. Don't listen to me. If he tells you yes, then go for it. But if you have this feeling that something's not right, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, go with your instincts. I've had friends who have had this done and their doctor gave them the go ahead to have sex. And after the first maybe like 1 or 2 times, they could feel that something wasn't right about it, and they decided not to. And sure enough, during the process of them having this intercourse, their cervix began to shorten and shorten and shorten. So my doctor always told me, better be safe than sorry, and he's never approved any type of intercourse. So, but if your doctor says go for it, then by all means go for it. But again, I'd rather be safe than sorry. So I hope that answers your questions, and if you have more, just keep them coming. Bye.